Alright, so we did a little bouldering session at Lehi, and it was just a simple session. We did some boulder projecting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch the videos of us climbing and just kind of go through our process of projecting boulders and I guess our approach to that.
So here I'm trying this orange V10, it was really my style. It's like some pretty small crimps on like more of a low angle overhang. And I was when I first looked at it, I wasn't sure if it would feel like too hard to do or not, but the feet are pretty good. So I was able to do like most of the moves pretty quickly. I think this move, left hand that I just did, was like the hardest move that I stuck from the bottom, and then the move that I did the right hand to that set of 2 crimps was also one of the hard moves. And then I went to the top to figure out how hard it would be up there, just to be sure if I got there from the bottom I'd be able to do it. And here...
Is that something you usually do on boulder projects?
Yeah. Indoors, I guess even outside. I don't boulder that much outside, but like it's really good to go all the way to the top, because I feel like you basically are on-siding.
Yeah, then go pumped at the top.
Yeah. So.
Alright, yeah. So I tried the same boulder. I'd actually tried this boulder like one day a while before. But yeah, my typical process for bouldering projecting is I give it a flash try, and then wherever I fall, I kind of like step back and analyze why I fell and if there's anything I can fix. And then I pull back on there and kind of do that in parts all the way to the top until I've done all of the moves usually. For me, yeah, that just helps a lot with learning the moves and avoiding like falling off on an easier move up higher. Oh, that. Oh, too cool. Then once I figure out all the beta, I take a long rest and oh, too cool my fingers so they dry off. And
I don't do that. Not in the gym.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, learn something. So this is my first send try from the ground after working out all the moves. This was the hardest move for me. And then from here, it's kind of just keeping it together to the top. I know what to do. I do slightly different beta for the finish move. I didn't actually rehearse this move, but I was pretty confident that it would work.
Okay, back to me. I think these are some of my like sin tries after I figured out all the moves. And like on this boulder in particular, something that was useful was like, even if sometimes I'd set up for a move and not feel like I was going to stick it, but if I just try, sometimes I stick it and like surprise myself. And I definitely think like the move coming off with a crimp I grab with my right hand right here, every time I feel like I wasn't going to stick that one, and then I did.
Oh, there's a little dyno try. That's nothing important. So this is a white V10, really long. The stand start is VA or V9. So this is my flash try. I was definitely figuring out a lot of the moves on the go. It was a pretty complex boulder, so I read as much as I could from the ground, but there was a lot that I was unsure on. Knee bar.
I feel like on this one you're doing a lot of improvising too.
Yeah, I was pretty hesitant here too. I spent a lot of time, and I think that got me a little tired, and then I don't know if I fully committed to that beta because it felt kind of crazy. So yeah, I start here again to try and like work out this move. A lot of times I think it can be really important too to climb into the sequence, like because a lot of times there's connecting foot moves that you might miss if you just start like on the move you fell off on. So like really knowing how to connect the sequences together, I find is really helpful in my project process. The sketchy heel. Yeah, so I thought the heel hook would be a little bit less risky than this toe hook, but the toe hook ended up being fine and a lot easier than I thought. Yeah, same thing here. I took a good rest, usually like 5 to 10 minutes, I'd say, is usually my rest period, like once I've sussed out all the moves. And then I rehearse the boulder in my head so that I know what I'm going to do with all my beta. Sometimes I do little changes if I think I could have done something more efficient. That's like the definite crux of the boulder, and then it's not too bad from here to the top.
Okay, here I am on, this is I think it's a V8, and this is a climb I looked at and thought that like I could probably do first try, but there on my first try I didn't read the boulder and I went wrong hand to like the first hold and I couldn't switch them out. So that's one thing that I, especially in the gym, I like am bad about reading boulders all the way through. Sometimes I'll just kind of look at the top and then try it.
Yeah.
But then I think on my second try on this one, I was able to do it. Something too, like here I grabbed a really bad hold and I was expecting it to be better, but I just kind of went with it and tried not to I just went with my original plan and didn't like go for different beta, just because sometimes that'll mess me up more than if something's not as good as I expected.
Okay.
Oh, and here I am on, this is blue V9, and this one was really hard for me to read from the ground, and I actually even missed a hold for most of the times that I tried this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But this one like looked a little bit harder than it really was, and I kind of honestly like let my own intuition kind of do the moves on this one, because I didn't really know what I was supposed to do. But yeah, you do like big move, and then there's my first try, yeah, my foot popped, but you have to go really big, like commit to the move on this volume. Here I started like halfway up, like you were doing.
Yeah. Just
to try that move, and I climbed into it. And then tried to go to the top to see what the top was like. And the top ended up being kind of hard. So, yeah. I think this one was different from the orange one just because it's like the single moves aren't as hard. It's just a lot longer. So you just have to like stay in it for the whole boulder.
It's really steep too, this cave.
Yeah.
It's steep.
Oh, that was a fail try. I forgot about that one. Sometimes like if I'm too focused on the next move, I'll just not place my feet well, and like there my heel just popped off.
Yeah, I think that one's common with like trying to send your whatever hard bowlers. When that pressure kicks in, you get like so focused in on the crux that you overlook the
easier climbing. Yeah, and then here I stuck that jump move, and it felt a lot harder than I expected. I started to get a little tired, and then this move is, I found that's like the, I guess, red point crux of that boulder.
Yeah, so this was the last boulder I tried. It was a V11. I didn't have a great plan reading it from the ground. It was pretty cryptic. A lot of times I find that with those routes, it's better just to get on them and kind of feel them out and yeah, take that intuitive approach. I kind of surprised myself. I got through the bottom pretty well, and then I really like these pitches, so I was pretty confident through this section. And then coming up, I think this next move is the hardest move on the boulder. I was a little tired. I just didn't quite have the pull to get all the way up to that crimp. Yeah, so I got that move figured out. It was more just being a little fresher and kind of knowing exactly what I'm gonna do. And then this was a cool recycle sequence. Not too bad with like a hard move to the top. So yeah, again, yeah, that was a similar process. Like, took a long rest. And I find a lot of times, like, going into my send try, I have like so much of a plan that I can commit faster and spend a lot less time on the wall, which in turn gives me a little more energy for the crux.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of times the difference between my first try and my send try.
Mm-hmm.
And just knowing the subtleties of like exactly how to grab the holes, like where the good spots are.
Yeah.
I did that little match. I was a little tired again, so that kind of saved me. And the crux end. Oh, maybe a little dab on the green there. I don't know.